My name is Brother Michael Aboza, and if you're not religious, you can call me Michael. And if you're not spiritual, hey you. I've been called worse. I watched a movie called Dallas Buyers Club recently, and Ron Woodruff was actually bisexual. His real life wife knew, most of us bi activists knew, but the media erased that and made him a homophobic heterosexual. And I'm in the movie theater crying over the popcorn. I was like, oh my God, put the popcorn down. And I was like, I have to go to an organization that's inclusive and start to talk about the B, because I've been talking about the B since 2007, maybe a little earlier. And the wonderful Project Vita, which has become part of my heart, said, why don't we talk to Tribe? And Tribe and I talked, long walk down the streets of the other building. And it was time to talk about the visibility. Not because bisexual is all that in a bag of chips. It's about equality. Bisexual, visible equality. I'll explain a little of my coming out story, a little bit because it's a long story, a little bit about the inspiration that inspired me to do some bi history, my contributions, and then we'll have questions and answers throughout the presentation, so we all have questions. Please be open to any question, and don't apologize for asking, because someone's got to ask the question. Wow. In kindergarten, I was raised in a Roman Catholic church. And in kindergarten, we were sit by our gender roles, of course, assumed male, female, male, female, male, female. But I guess they ran out of desks. And they put me at a table with Katie and Donald. And it's interesting, when my own innate ability, my own innate birthright speaks to me and I don't listen, I get confused. It was speaking to me at that table. I'm sitting with Katie and Donald and I'm starting to get butterflies in kindergarten. Like, oh my God, they're both cute. And from kindergarten to 7th grade, I had butterflies for both of them. It wasn't a phase for me. When I played flag football with Donald, I would be missing Katie at the same time. When I played flag football with Katie, yes, girls who play sports too, I'd have butterflies for Donald. Well, when all three of us would get together, we would have cotton candy. The church people didn't like that, but we did. And it's interesting. Katie would eat the fuchsia-colored cotton candy. Donald, the royal blue, and of course I had to have the lavender. Interesting when my innate ability talks to me and I don't listen. During that time, though, I became a survivor of clergy abuse. I was abused by nuns and priests. So I had to erase my own butterflies and deal with post-traumatic stress disorder. And that was rough at a young age. I had to self-medicate and I did that, we recovered as we recovered. And I forgot all about the butterflies. My innate ability didn't. To survive, I was dealing with what I dealt with. And at 14, I finally came out to my mom and dad that I was a survivor. And we moved from Chicago, Roman Catholic, to the suburbs public school. It was like a fresh breath of air. There was no nuns and no priests, and no cross. Well, that's a metaphor for later. And it was interesting. Now that I'm in the suburbs, I hear homosexual and heterosexual, and the butterflies come back. I'm like, oh, this is language I understand, I think. And in high school, white, privileged, English-speaking high school, the only two gay kids were two open black kids that would vote down the hallway, and I thought that was fabulous. I was like, I want to learn that, because all I know is the hokey pokey and how to pray on Sunday. And I talked with them, and as I was talking with them, I understood a little bit of their language. It was like a language thing. I was like, oh, they understand something. I understand. They told me about, some gay history, where balls started and drag shows. I'm like, wow, it's very, very impressive. But I remember one day, the high school guy that I was attracted to walked down the stairs this high and mighty male privilege and called the black kids the N-word and the F-word. Now I have post-traumatic stress disorder and I thought, bring it. bring it. And the black kid got scared and ran away. And I turned around and I said, if you're not one of them, don't talk to them. I didn't know what else to say. I was about to pee my pants. And he goes, what's wrong with you? Are you an F word? I said, yes, someone has to be. He didn't know what to do, and he walked away. But I wasn't. But if I was, I would take that word and get it tattooed on my body. But I knew that was not me. But I knew I was protecting something. It was part of me. Intuition, my innate ability, my birth. And I began to speak out against homophobia at a young age. I had no idea what I was doing. But I knew it was right to speak out about equality. And I was also a feminist at that age, too. My mom didn't understand, but she was proud because she couldn't speak up to my dad, but I could. So after I graduated high school, I was a big old gay activist, and I'd come out gay because I had to choose gay or straight. It's interesting. I was also told it's not a choice to be gay or straight. So it's like a contradiction. Did I choose to be gay or straight? But then again, it's not a choice. So I'm like, okay, look, I'm just trying to get over being gay and post-traumatic stress disorder. So I finally came out, and I did some research that the rainbow flag was made in 1978 by Gilbert in San Francisco for gay and lesbian safe places. I was like, this is awesome. And the last three colors were royal blue, lavender, fuchsia. Upside down, right? But I didn't know that then. But I stared at the last three colors and I was like, I understood this. I didn't understand the rest of the flag, but it is beautiful or handsome. So I became a big gay activist with Equality Illinois, and Rick Garcia was there, and Gay Liberation Network, and AIDS Care, and they were on Berry Avenue. That was years ago, telling my age, and TPAN. But when I was part of this culture that were GLBT before we were LGBT, I could not mention HIV negative bisexual because I had to go find my own kind. And HIV positive people would not understand me being negative. And I respected that because for some people it's a language thing. I got that early on in life. I stepped away and I attempted suicide because there is no support for me. I didn't fit in. I was not beautiful rainbow. I was not gay history. I was not lesbian history. And no offense, I wasn't straight history either. So now I'm in Forest Hospital in Des Plaines. Straight hospital. And the F word is right. Because back in the day I was kind of more flamboyant. So I'm assumed big old gay. But back then people are uneducated. Gay could be anything, not just a flamboyant assumed male person. So every time I heard the F word, I was like, that's not me, but I'll stick up for it. So I said, yes, of course. Bring it, we're in a hospital. So I came out of there thinking, okay, I got to do something other than this whole gay and lesbian thing, because this is not for me, but I'll stand up for it, because I understand struggle. So I began doing some other gay history, because I'm thinking maybe there's gay history in bisexual history. Couldn't find any. But I found Daughters of Bilitis, lesbian history, Machine Society, gay history, and then Stonewall riots was begun by transgender people, transgender history. I was like, the butterflies were there again. My innate ability was speaking to me, but I didn't understand. It was kind of like playing the lottery and almost winning. It's almost there. I almost get it. And I went back to these people knowing that, okay, I'm part of you, but I'm going to keep bringing up that I'm bisexual. And when we say LGBT, gay, and transgender, we can't just erase the B. Because it's not a phase for some people. I was told by many people to find my own way and to come back until I find myself. I attempted suicide. Now I'm in Vallejo Hospital, Lakeshore, and I'm on the LGBT floor. And there's that rainbow flag. Without the pink this time. I was like, did they erase the pink too? And I didn't understand what's going on. And I couldn't say bisexual because some gay kid said, "You're just confused. You belong on the first floor with your straight people." My heart broke. And I didn't go homophobic on him because I understood his struggle. I got his language before he spoke his language. And I just walked out of the room and I got to do bisexual history. Hello. I got to stand in the shoes that I was given a long time ago. So I got into the hospital and began to do Chicago history. In 1970, the Chicago Libraries, a bi activism group. You can Google it. I don't want to go into the history because we read that. Sorry. In the 1980s, Action by Women, that was a bi feminist group. They were fabulous. And Paige is still around. She's amazing. She was also part of Urination. She was also part who began the Bi-Political Action Coalition, so bisexual feminist. There are people to Action by Women dissolved, but they're still a part of the Howard Brown Bi-Female Support Group now. So like the Bread Loaf is the group, and the Crumbs that are still around, they still exist. Then in the 1990s, there was Chicago Bisexual Network, the Nice Butt group. But during the Pride Parade, they were booed. And it's interesting to note that the Pride Parade was brought to us by Brenda Howard, Mother of Pride. She organized Pride marches before we were parades because of death threats. So March after March, Brenda Howard helped us become a parade. So who brought us the Pride Parade but Brenda Howard, Mother of Pride, a bisexual feminist? Isn't that interesting? Who in the Pride Parade brought to you by a bisexual feminist? But I digress. Then from that time to about 2008, there was stuff on the internet. A lot of stuff was going on. But most of the world in Chicago didn't know that in June of the 1990s, there's something called Bisexual Pride Day. That's amazing. We have a Pride Day. And why is that? Because the Pride Parade was brought to us by Brenda Howard, but since most of society calls it the Gay Pride Parade, we got to take it back. So we have a bisexual pride, and the mayor of San Francisco gave it to us, and that's a whole different presentation. And then later, we had Celebrate Bisexuality Day, September 23rd, 1999. Michael Page, the creator of the Bi Flag, along with Wendy Curry and Gigi Reagan, organized this. That was the birth of the Bi Flag. So we have a rainbow flag in the late 70s, and 20 years later, right side up, the Bi Flag is gone. Along that time, we're still being erased. We're gay or straight. You're a phase. You're confused. You're greedy. You're an HIV spreader. You're really untrustworthy. You're setting us gay people back, and you have heterosexual privilege. And I remind people, what heterosexual privilege does a straight person have when they're homeless on the street? No privilege. So maybe struggle is struggle, but different for different people. 2008, Adrian begins Bisocial Network. Fantastic bisexual person. She's still around. And she inspired this next one. In 2007, I come out of the hospital, I go to the Center in Halstead, and above their elevators, I see the word Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender Community Center. The word bisexual was on the wall. The butterflies started to sing, the cotton candy came up a little bit. There was gay programs, lesbian programs, and because of June Trope, there was transgender programs. So I learned from the feminists, you get your foot in the door first. I became a volunteer at the Center in Halstead. And I saw somebody who worked there who went to Buck's Saloon all the time. And since they had Carnival, I went to go volunteer at a Carnival and get my foot in the door. And in my get-up, I tapped a man on the shoulder. He goes, "Hi," I said, "I'm a volunteer at the Center in Halstead. Thank you very much." He goes, "That's great." He turns back around. I learned from the feminist, you try one more time. I saw there's no bisexual program. Can I help in that? His exact words, quote, every non-for-profit has to have a need. And since there's no bisexuals, there's no need. End of quote. And the person next to him goes, yeah, I bisex all the time. Ha, ha, ha. Ooh. Flashbacks from the abuse started to happen. I was like, settle down, Michael. It's like you're churched. This is part of it all. I was like, my exact words, I will bring you a need, I will bring you bisexuals. And Adrian, from my social network, was happy to come to the white part of the world, the white part of Chicago, and bring it because she reminded she's an African American. She's incredible. So she came to the Center of Halstead. Noel, the organizer of Chicago Bisexual Queer Meetup, joined us. And I walked back inside the Center of Halstead with these two people, the bisexual program. And I was so thrilled because bisexual programs started to bring in people from the east side and the south side and the west side. They had a voice. Besides Affinity, which also has a bi group. Now the Center of Halstead had a bi group. I was not done yet. You know what feminists ain't done. So I'm like, okay, we have to have an activist group. Talked to Adrienne Williams because she knows the wisdom. I said, Adrienne, what do I do? She said, put on the bi flag and listen. Listen what? I put on the bi flag, and I was the most peaceful I've ever felt in my life. Nothing hurt, not even myself. And at that time, Noel asked me to go to the Because conference, Because, B-E-C-A-U-S-E, which is a bisexual conference in Minneapolis that's still going on, full of bisexual people. I go there with Noel, I thought I walked into heaven. There's no gay, there's no lesbian, there's no straight people, oh my God. No offense to anybody else, but you know, when you're around your own kind, the butterflies start to move or something starts to happen. It doesn't hurt to breathe. Even if you're in the closet, it doesn't hurt to breathe when you're around your own. So I did this workshop, Bisexual Men, the Other Blessing. Now, Brother Michael had to bring the prayer. And the group was powerful. I was the only one person there, but it was incredible. And we talked about history, bisexual men of color were telling me about their history, and Latin bisexual men were talking, and this Asian man talking about Asian bisexual. Or honoring. And all the while I had the bisexual flag on because I need my protection. Because that's how I pray. And afterwards I got it. I remember Adrian's voice because you can't forget a feminist voice. Well, I can't. Listen. Bisexual activism, because I did the history. So I found Ed, who has different tokens than me. My tokens are white. Marriage status is different. Health status is different. Race is different. And Ed became the co-founder. And we began Bisexual Queer Alliance Chicago, October 16, 2010. And guess who was at our first meeting? Paige. When she walked through the door, I was like, oh, she exists. Our history, or her story, feminists, get it right. She walked through the door, and I peed a little. I didn't tell her that until later. She started laughing. But it was wonderful that we had bisexual activism. It's still going on. As founder, we have a new board, and we still meet. Our next meeting is this Wednesday at the Center of Halstead. Everybody's welcome, 7 o'clock. It's incredible. So we have all this bi activism, but I wasn't done, you know, as feminists. 2011, the Bisexual Visibility Report comes out of San Francisco. And that report shows that bisexual people struggle in a higher percentage than our gay, lesbian, and straight counterparts. Unemployment, housing, mental health, and suicidal ideation. And I went right to the mayor's office, to the LGBT issues office, and I had to get this endorsed. I wasn't done yet. And I asked the 13 people at the table, may I ask how many of you are bisexual? 2 people raised their hands. I was like, okay, we're on board. This is good. I don't got to fight too much. So I had to come back the next month to get the endorsement. And Paige came, Adrian came, Ed came, Noel came. But I was done because I was late. Why was I late to get the endorsement? As I'm walking down the street, this homeless youth is in a conversation. I hear the word, well, I'm bisexual. I would think, Jonathan. I said, my name is Michael. I'm an activist. And I'm going to go to the city hall and we're going to get this report endorsed. Do you want to come with us? He goes, I have no money. I said, I have $200. You want permission to come with us to see my history. You get the $200. That's it. I have not seen somebody smile that big in a long time. So the tired, smelly, hungry, homeless youth took 3 buses with me to the office. And he's falling asleep. I said, are you sure? He goes, I can't miss this. We get to the office, and they person right there. He woke up. And he smiled and he hugged me. And he said, I'm sorry I'm hugging you, I'm smelly. I said, so am I. I'm bisexual too. And he took a picture and I have it in my scrapbook of all of us. The bifab. And then bisexual report from UK came out in 2012. There's other reports recently about how LGBT people struggle when it comes to assistance and food stamps. And how bisexual people struggle just a little bit more than our gay, lesbian, and straight counterparts. I find that fascinating. We're still being erased, though, in Dallas Buyers Club, that movie. For heterosexual homophobes. Or Brenda Howard. She was a gay person who started the birthing because it's a gay pride parade. Or Dr. Kinsey, who made the Kinsey report in the 40s. We're going to forget about him. Or 1975, the year I was born, thank you, intuition, the bisexual option. Dr. Fritz Klein dissects the Kinsey report. So people who didn't understand the Kinsey report in the 40s, welcome to the 1970s. It's fascinating. Then a report in 1995, the year I graduated high school, thank you, intuition. Vice versa. An English professor writes about bi pop culture, bi history. And the people that I read about, Mick Jagger, Freddie Mercury, and Frida Kahlo, Josephine Baker, bisexual. Fabulous. So we have bisexual history, we have bisexual activism, but still there's bisexual erasure. That's the manifestation of biphobia. And that's what we're talking about, bisexual disability. What does it look like? Is it just those adult movies when people are having sex? Is it those people that, just have a girlfriend on Monday and greedy with a boyfriend on Tuesday? Is there really a place for bisexuals at all, or is it just a phase? And that's where the conversation starts today, and which will continue. Is bisexuality visible? Is it real? Does it exist? Let's agree to disagree. Let's have a conversation and be real with it. And while we do that, I wear the bisexual flag so I don't forget where I came